All right, today I'm working on a 2014 BMW 335xi, and the transmission is the ZF8HP45. All right, 72,000 miles on the car. So what's going on with this is the car basically has a hard code. The code will not clear for one of the solenoids being shorted. So the scenario goes like this. I guess the owner of the car was driving it wherever he was. It went into limp mode, and I think what happened, or what I'm thinking happened, is maybe in the past it's gone into limp mode for him before, and a lot of times you can shut the car off. You know, maybe you got to pull off to the side of the road, put it in park, shut it off, leave it off for a minute or two, turn it back on, and the car is not in fail-safe anymore, and then you can go on your way. Well, that didn't happen this time. What happened, I'm assuming, I don't know the story because I'm just dealing with the owner of the repair shop, which is a BMW specialty shop. So what I think happened was when the car went into safe mode, the guy pulled over, put it in park, shut it down for a few minutes, started it back up, and the car wouldn't come out of park because the code did not clear, the memory did not get erased. And incidentally, just to let you know, a lot of times when a car, any car for that matter, goes into safe mode and you shut it off, what you're actually doing is erasing the memory. It forgot it had a problem. That's why when you start it up again, it may work okay until it sees you have that problem again. In this case, it didn't work because the solenoid is totally shorted. I had to get the valve buddy out and check this thing out because I had to give them a price because they're looking for this to get it back as soon as possible. So we do have a shorted solenoid. I have a solenoid kit coming from Ericsson's, and I have a pan and fluid and stuff coming from my supplier. So when it got stuck in park, and on this particular car, I'm going to show you because the car, I left the car inside so I can give you an underneath shot. This doesn't have any kind of emergency release cable. It has a bracket on the side, but it has a bolt on the bottom that you got to screw up. You got to get underneath the car to move the lever up out of park so you can roll the car. So when the car had to get picked up by the flatbed, they had to drag the car up because no one, I guess, basically knew how to get this thing out of park. So I'm talking to my wholesale account, and I'm like, listen, if you want me to get this thing picked up or if you want to tow it in, you know, when he lifts this thing off the ground with the flatbed, can somebody get under there and just screw that thing up, take 2 seconds, just so we can roll the car around so it's not stuck in park and we don't have a hard time getting it off the flatbed. So he said, okay, that's a good idea, fine, we'll do that. So that's what they did, so we're able to push the car around. And I'll show you where that is. So we get the car inside and we hook up a scan tool. All right, one of my ATECs, who actually I got all ATECs here, that leads up, that manages the general repair division of the shop, has his own Autel, which he prefers to use. So we did a code scan with his Autel. And so I have my Snap-on Apollo, and we also have an Autel in the shop also. So the code I got was 420012, and that is pressure control valve D, circuit short to positive, and it's permanent. So you know what, the code's not clearing. We tried it ourselves, and I know that the shop that it came from, I believe he has either BMW software or he uses the AutoLogic, which is, you know, top of the line stuff. He said the code wouldn't clear because I had said, well, come pick it up, clear the code, maybe we can get here because he's not that far away. Then he called me back and said, you know what, it won't clear. And I says, well, how'd they get it on the flatbed when I got stuck? He said they just dragged it up. So that's when we came up with the idea of, once the wheels are off the ground, you know, slide under there on the creeper, screw it up to get it out of park so we can roll it up on the flatbed, and everything like that worked out good. All right, so we did the code scan, and again, 420012, electronic pressure control valve D, short circuit. So I have the valve body out, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the mechatronic unit off, and we're going to ohm the solenoids. Okay, so what I did was I printed out what these solenoids are. So solenoid D is going to be EDS6 solenoid, and I have the location, but we're going to check each one, and I'll give you the name of each solenoid as we check it. Okay, also when we drop the pan, this does have the start-stop feature. So this has the his pump, and that is hydraulic impulse storage, which goes right behind, kind of goes right here. Here is the plug-in for this, and then you got a little O-ring going into the transmission. 3 volts, hold this on. So again, this is the hydraulic impulse storage, or the his pump. I'll give you a close-up shot of that too. All right, so what we're gonna do, plug this back in so we can get the full effect here of disassembling this mechatronic unit. Okay. So we have our EDS solenoids, our MV2, MV3 solenoid. All right, our output speed sensor here. So what I'll do is I'll get a little closer, and we're going to take the 5 bolts out that hold the mechatronic unit on, and then I'll get a little, well, I'll do that, and then what we'll do is we'll focus, I'll set up the voltmeter, the ohm meter, and we're gonna ohm the solenoids out, and you will see that the EDS6, or solenoid valve D, is shorted 100%. All right, so with that, again, the solenoids are available. The one that I had done in that BMW X6M series, that 8HP45, those solenoids, to my knowledge right now, are not available in the United States. You probably can get them, but you probably have to buy a valve on it. But these are available. Also, I had sent these particular ones that are orange and white in color out to Ericsson's to be flow checked, kind of when I needed a direction when I was having problems with the transmission, and I kind of, say, let me send them out, see if they're plugged. If not, we may have to go further and pull the transmission out. So Ericsson's can flow check these 8-speed solenoids on the ZF8HP45, the 55, and the 70s. They can be done. Also, if the 90s have these white and orange solenoids, they also can be flow checked. All right, so I'm gonna get a little closer. We're gonna zip the 5 bolts out. Also, we're gonna disconnect this sub harness here, and we gotta disconnect here where it bolts up to the, actually we could probably leave all that connected. But I'll show you how that comes off anyway. And then we'll ohm out the solenoids, and then I want to show you underneath the car as well. All right, I won't think I'll be able to go back together with this. I may be able to, because it is pretty busy here. So if I can put this job off till the following morning, we can actually go ahead and install the solenoids. I'll show you the kit, but I'm not really sure where that's going to go, but I'm going to certainly try to put that off until the morning so we can do that together. But again, may not be able to. They are looking for this as soon as they can get it, because their other car just went down. They have another BMW that they take to this particular shop, and he just called up. He says, please, as fast as you can. Their other car just went down. I says, what happened? He said the transmission light came on. So let's see what's going to happen there. All right, so let me get a little closer, and we're going to start checking out the solenoids on this valve. Okay, so let's just take it off the stand for a minute, and let's just unplug this real quick. All right, so I'm going to push down on this tab. It's a little tough, so just give it a push and pull this right off. Okay, so I'll just leave it off in there. All right, I'm going to put this back up here. I got a little closer with the camera so you guys can see a little better. So we got 5 bolts. Oh, you know what we got to do? I'm going to disconnect this solenoid here, lift up on the tab, pull it right out. Okay, that is out. Now we're going to take 5 bolts out that hold the mechatronic unit on, and there's 1 bolt here, and these actually will loosen up because we can slide them out. So we're going to take a total of 6 bolts out. All right, so first let's just get this one. There's the short one for the harness. Okay, loosen that, okay, and that'll come out. Now we got 5 bolts for the Mechatronic unit. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, now we're going to take this off. Just bring this down a little bit. Okay, and then this should slide right off very carefully. All right, so there is our Mechatronic unit. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to get set up here with my voltmeter, and we're going to check these solenoids out. So just to identify the solenoids like this, all right, we have EDS1, which is solenoid A, EDS6, solenoid D, this is our problem one, EDS3, solenoid B, EDS4, solenoid E, EDS5, solenoid C, EDS2, TCC solenoid, and EDS7, this is the line pressure solenoid, and your NV2, NV3 park lock solenoid, and park release solenoid. All right, so let me just get set up, and we're going to ohm out the solenoids. All right, give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, so let's start over here again with EDS1 or solenoid A. Okay, so these are about 5 ohms. Okay, so this is 5.2. All right, so all the EDS solenoids to here should all be the same, and this is going to be a little more ohms. It's probably going to be about 10 or 11 ohms, but these here, all the white and orange colored solenoids should all be the same. Okay, so again, we got 5.2. Now here's our problem one. Here we go, 0.8. All right, that was EDS6 or solenoid D. All right, now we have EDS3. Oops, wait a minute. There we go, solenoid B. Okay, EDS4. Gotta get a connection here. Okay, EDS4, solenoid E. EDS5, solenoid C. Okay. EDS2, TCC solenoid. And EDS7, which is line pressure. Okay, so they're all 5.2, 5.3, except for this one. Here we go. So that's a definite problem right there. And we'll check out the MV solenoid while we're here, and we got 10.7. All right, so 100%, we got a shorted solenoid here. Again, EDS6, solenoid D. So again, I have the solenoid kit coming from Ericsson's. I have the new pan/filter. And of course, you want to make sure it has those words, which I know mine will, but for you guys that are doing this on your own, make sure those pans say made in Germany, and you're getting an OE pan, and use the Lifeguard 8. All right, so what I want to do is just set up underneath the car, show you where the valve body lives, and show you the release lever what they had to do to get this thing out of park. All right, so let me just get set up over by the car, and then that's pretty much about it, unless I can, again, push this thing off until the morning, the following morning, where we can do this, do the solenoids together. But I'm not sure I can, so, you know, at that point, we'll just kind of to be continued or end it right there. All right, so give me 1 second, and I'm going to set up underneath the car. All right, underneath the car, valve body out, as you can see. And this is the screw 5mm Allen head, 5mm Allen, is you have to screw this up to get this out of park. So watch the lever here. You know, let me see, well, let me just kind of, just watch, then I'll get a little closer up shot. Okay, and you can see it move out of park. All right, sometimes when there's no valve body, it may snap back too far, and you may have to loosen these here, pull it down a little bit to get the, you know, to get the rod back to get this up. But it's also much easier to hang the valve body like this too. So as you can see, you know, it'll go up fairly easy, and you can see that moving back out of the park position. So let's put this, I don't want to go too far where I'm going to lose the lever. Okay. All right, now let me get a little closer here. All right, again, so here it is. And then you want to watch this right here. You'll see it move. All right, so I'm going to go up. And this is what he had to do. He had to get underneath the car. And you have to push this up. All right, and that will knock it out of park. It'll take it out of park, and then you can roll the car. There is no emergency release cable here. You know, like they have the, as we call it, the J bracket. Drive shaft is in the way you really can't see, but there's just a lever, and you just screw that up, and after the valve body is in, you just bring this back down again. And it stays there, you know, it won't move. You just kind of bring it back down till it doesn't touch the lever anymore, so you may have to take a, you know, a look at it to see how far you actually have to go down. All right, and then when we loosen this, okay, now if I bring it all the way down, it'll jump it back into park. So that's it right now for this 2014 BMW 335 Xi. We have that hard code. Let me just get the paper. I forgot what the code was. All right, we had that hard code for let's see, where is it? Wait a minute, let me just find my bearings here. Okay, hard code of 420012, electronic pressure control valve D, short circuit to positive. So we ohmed out the solenoid, and we did not have the 5.2 like all the other solenoids had. So we know 100% it's shorted, okay? Basically, on a situation like this, everything is internal to the transmission, meaning it's either the solenoid or the mechatronic unit. That's really about it. There's really no wiring or anything that you can check, because coming into the transmission you have your power, grounds, and communication lines. So if the solenoid checked out good, what I probably would have done was heated it with the heat gun and see if it shorted there. Also, maybe as a test, change it or swap the solenoid with another one to see if the code would change or stay the same. And if we know if the code would change, it would be the solenoid. If it stayed the same, it would be the computer. All right, so that is all for now, and I'm hoping I can continue this with you guys when I get the new solenoid kit. All right, so the good news is we can swap these solenoids out together. All right, I'm going to be putting this valve body back in first thing in the morning, because they need this car back tomorrow, because their other car, the people that own this BMW, have another one that actually went down, and I believe it's something transmission related also. So I want to get one back, and we'll get the other one here. So what I have that we're going to work on is I have my new EDS solenoids here. Okay, I do have, I'm just up to 3 liters of the Lifeguard 8. I have more coming tonight in my night delivery. And also I have my pan. All right, and that comes with a new bolt kit and new fill check plug. And here is the pan. And of course it has those magic words, made in Germany, but because this is original ZF, I do not deviate from that at all. Let me just put this back in, because we'll be using this in the morning. And there is, you can see that, TransStar's number and the original ZF number. All right, so I'm gonna get a little closer. We're gonna take this bracket off, and we're gonna swap these solenoids out one by one. We'll put the bracket back on and put the Megatronic unit or the TCM back on, so we can, tomorrow morning when the guys get in, the car's inside, it's up on the lift already, and we're just gonna hang this and put this back together and get the car back to them as early as possible. All right, so let me get a little closer and we'll start doing the solenoids. Ready? Let's go ahead and take this bracket off. This is a 27, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yes. Okay. Go ahead and slide that up. Ready, open the packages. Okay. All right, so we'll start here. Right. Lightning again. I got my trans gel. Okay. Go ahead and put this on. Everything is lined up. There is a little tab here, little cutout that the bracket sits in, but you'll know if it is in, you know, because everything is down and lining up. Sometimes you may have to, you know, just straighten these out, but everything looks good. Okay, and last one. All right, so let's just run them in, and we'll torque them down. Get rid of these here. Oh, let me get my wrench. Alright, so I have this set at 85 inch-pounds. Okay. Solenoids out of here. Okay, we have our new solenoids installed. We have our bracket in, torque down. Now we're ready to put the TCM on, or the Mechatronic unit. Okay. So let's make sure these wires stay out of the way. And we can go ahead and install this. Should go right down. No problem. There we go. Okay, very good. Now we have our fluid transfer pipe, our pump suction pipe with O-rings on it, so we're going to grease all those O-rings up before we put the valve body back in. Okay, very carefully. Put this here. All right. Now we got the 5 long bolts for the Mechatronic unit and a couple of short ones for that hold the harness in place. Okay, so let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the other 2 we'll put when we put the harness in place. All right, so let's get these tightened down. All right, so here's the plug-in for the his pump. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still again at 85 inch-pounds. Okay, now our harness. This bolt should be loose, so we can slide it into here. Put that there. Let's get the other 2. Where are the other 2? Here they are. Here. Okay. All right. Let's plug this in. Okay. Let's make sure the rod is free of the part piston. That looks good. All right. So the only thing we have left to do now. Wrap these wires around here like this. Bring this up. Hold it over here. Plug that in. And that is it. She is complete, ready to go back in the car. Here is the his pump again. Hydraulic impulse storage for the start-stop feature. So we should be good to go. Okay, so we got a 2014 B&W 335 Xi that wouldn't come out of park, and we had a hard code of 420012 electronic pressure control valve D, circuit short to positive. And that was a permanent code, meaning it would not clear. So when we ohmed the solenoids, we saw 100% that solenoid was shorted. It wasn't even an ohm, when the others were 5.2, 5.3 ohms. So we found our problem. And we're gonna go back up with the valve body. Again, a new pan, new fluid, and we'll get this person back on the road again. All right, so I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you next one.